I understand the slope part. If you can, translate each word. Slow. And slow. Oh, and he gave her gave her said, her. I'm not one, pleasure. In this game. Pizza. They were having really worse. That's 3 words. Yeah, very good. So you have the case? You have the case in your mind? Yeah. That's the case. Says said to her, that's you're in the cottage to me from the pleasure of this gift. And he on the altar. Should not have said that he said that it's not for her. The question in this one case is really what she can first. She did came into the question, listen to her. She got fully granted and the lover just paid his rent for it. What's her benefit? Well, I want my friend for that. Not just or my friend to benefit. That's why I'm asking for this. She answered the negative point as well. Puzzle her. She said, this feels like it makes a few different things. Somebody else to benefit. You know, that's those for they feel good. Who got in people? Oh, that's who got in people. Yeah, you got she get like that every day. She basically from what we're she expressed the will and the will is done. Yes, and listening. Depends how you read the sentence and put the comments. Depends where you put the comments. If you want, put the comments in brackets and bars. But if you don't want to, maybe they can one. Or even start other people, they get all into one of the other dimensions. In the other dimension, they like that they tend to go to. Ah, so. She might be more than one. She gave people listen to her. I think one of us on the year. Yeah, some really fast out. I didn't need on the. And the song learns, but I mean, the city. Oh, and a lot of people out. I think that's the I have to feel very that's what's not from step. But anyway, probably everybody this way and that way. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Where for Shabbos you went?
It's here, I didn't go out, because everything didn't come back, so I didn't go out to the Beit of everything didn't come back, so I didn't go out to Beit of
It is working. So if they teach you later, teachers don't get shorter than I did or they wrote a book about it, Escape from very good. Number one on the list of the Nazis. He was in broken a lot, and then eventually escaped to Hungary. And then he got made small. There's a connection to here. Sure. And here's the book, it says the story. In the book, it says when he got here, you got to know how forced we felt that suffering is feeling so much. First of all, we always lay stay on the floor. he always sleep on the floor, don't sleep in the bed. And I said, he came up with this picture. And he felt other people around him, right? And his dad was it's not very well.
הוא אמר לי שכל מה שעושה לאיפה בגור הרבה זמן, הוא משלם רק דולר. אבל הוא רוצה זמן. מבחינת פוסקים. הוא היה עם אז איתו לבנות, הוא היה חיים. תראו סיפור, לא יודע, נכנס לסרח בחשמל, שאתה סרח חי, זה רב חיים צריכים, חיים איזה סימן, אתה יודע. עכשיו, אני רוצה תעשה את זה יותר שיעור, תבוא את אחר כך. קיצור, מה עשיתי? לא, יש לי תפונה, הוא עד אוגוסט. השאלה אם הוא שינה את דרכו. אני יכול לדבר. מילווה ולוי ומוישה פריקי. ואמרתי לו שהוא צריך להיות סדר א' חובה. הוא התחייב. לבדוק אותו, זה לא רעיון. אמרתי שאני אדבר איתך. לא, אני לא אמרתי שאני אדבר איתך. קודם כל תצטרך להגיד לך. אמרתי, קודם כל תצטרך לדבר עם מנחת. לא, הוא כבר מזמן רוצה להיפות. הוא רודף אותם שאני אעזוב את התוכנית. הוא רודף אותם. בסדר.
אני לא בטוח להתרוקח.
אוקיי, בסדר.
בגלל הבעיה הזאת.
בסדר.
נשים. הוא יסחוב אחרים.
אוקיי. בסדר.
הוא לא פה, גם זה לא פה. He's with girls.
אבל ממש הוא יהיה שזה ילך לדבר.
הוא ממש שזה תקנים.
אני לא לעשות כמה, אבל אני אדבר לגבי העניין של לפנות, אני אדבר איתו. אם זה יקלקל את הקבוצה, אז עדיף שלא דבר. אוקיי, אז לא, אז עדיף לא בקלקל.
זה אומר היום, כבר 3 חודשים, 4 חודשים. מתי קל להיות? הפרדו, לא יודע אם הוא המשיך, כל הבנות, שהוא עדיין בפשטות. יש לנו קיבל סתירה, למה הוא רוצה לזרוק אותו? שאלת אותו? שקשר למנחת, למה הוא רוצה לזרוק אותו? עכשיו? אתה מקבל בן אדם ישיבה אחרת. למה הוא רוצה לזרוק אותו?
הוא אמר לי שלא, שאלתי אותו. אני שאלתי אותו. הוא אמר לי שהוא רוצה תוכנית מבוסס יותר קצר. זה לא תוכנית שזה...
זה מה שהוא אומר.
ההתחלה היה טוב, אבל אחר כך...
הוא לא סטייל. אם הוא יגיד לך שזה הורס לו את התוכנית, זה לא לוקח אותו. למה אנחנו שלנו מונח?
הבנתי.
אנחנו נצליח, לא שלנו.
אבל לא, אבל גם על מישהו אחר, גם על משהו עצמאי, בגדי, שמעת שהוא מאוד בחר. מה קרה?
הוא עצמאי, משהו עצמאי. לא יודע,
אוקיי, בסדר, כן. שואל זה לא בחור. בסדר, אוקיי. עוד משהו?
הנה פה. אם חושבים לא לפרק אלו.
יחד עם ה... יחד? הכל ביחד.
זה ביחד, זה נצלם ל-30. זה? באתי משקיע זה לא פה. באמת, גם דיברנו כל לעבוד ולעבוד פה בשלב הזה. היא אמרה מצאים את זה, להשפיע לילדים מתועלת, אני שמח, אני לא שמח, אני שמח. השאלתי את כל הדברים שלי. מה חסר לו שאתה לא מקום? מה חסר לו? רק 2 ילדים זה סחר בואי הם חוץ מהם של אמא שלך, שלא יכולים לראות לדבר. אבל מה יעשה? הנה, להביא הוא רוצה לפתוח לשם, יכול לפתוח פה חפות, זה לא לבחר. לא רוצה שיהיה פה משווה בלעד, זה בטח. יכול להיות, מה? אתה צריך.
בינתיים, כשאני רואה את התמונה, היום, לא, היום, זה צריך בתוך כל הישיבה להשקיע, לא לצאת. צריך משמעות, בדרך כלל אומר משמע זה משמע, 60, לא קשור, לא, שזה עוד נגמר, יש אנשים, תראה, קונטקט בגיל 80, זה פתח בגיל 60, מי פתח בגיל 80? אתה שתיים, לא, מה אתה מדבר? וגם אז בקושי הצליח. הרב שלו, במפורסם, בספרים. לא יודע, אני יודע שזה לא דוגמה. גם כן, אישה צונה, ורק בגלל שלא נתפס להם עץ, הקונסטלציה מיוחדת. תגיד מה מצליח. גם הוא לא מצליח. לא באים כאן שבאים. יש לה 100 ומשהו. אתה יכול להישאר להגיד 50. 45. מה שחשוב יש לו 200. הלו. עכשיו זה נהיה. פה זה 30, שם 30, שם 30. איך מהם? הוא מציל במאמס. חשוב, יש מה?
רב שלמה חלק לי דף בדפים בשבת, ויצא לי דף, היה לי גל היה מאוד מאוד מאוד. אבל היה עין א', עמוד ב', עין ב', עין ב', עמוד ב', עין ג', עין ג'.
So we're going to do, in the papers we have, Dusche Reb Shimon Shkom. So, the page 2, go to page 2, page 2. Page 2, we'll do the Bnei Yeshua's first. Bnei Yeshua. Page 2, below. Eilach mone vizkatshi leploini upiresh Rashi, v'ushluchoi, elo shemekatcha mishaloi. Page 2 below. Bnei Yeshua, Masechet Kiddush Daf Zayin Amud Aleph. Sham. I just called the Bnei Yeshua words. Hey, come on, Vizkatshi leploini, marry the ploini. Means the third party comes, gives the woman money, says get married to ploini. Upiresh Rashi, and Rashi explains, v'ushluchoi. And this third party is a messenger of the husband. So what do we need Evet Knaini for? Ela shemekatcha mishaloi. Rather, he's mekadosh from his own money. Third party is mekadosh from his own money. He's a messenger to do the action, to say, but he's paying the money. Mekatcha mishaloi. What?
The money is no shlichus of the money?
No, shlichus of the money.
The befida in
in this, how he's defining it, it's a Bechinen sleep. It's not a full sleep.
Shlichus on the Amira.
Right.
And doing the Maise. And the money is somebody else's money.
Last week.
And he's not makne the money to the Baal, and then he's a shliach of the Baal to give him money. No. He still owns the money, and he's giving as an ownership of money of a third party to the woman for the sake of the husband. He's not makne the goof of the money to the husband. What? Shaila, Pashtus is not part of the shliach.
Shliach has to do the runs of the.
Yeah, but you don't have to come into that. Ebed Knain, he tells, when he gives his own money, that mice of giving money for somebody else is like for him.
So it's not a classic sleep, it's a special purpose.
Yes. Rosh Zal Kosav,
Din sleep.
didn't say Dincho, said Mekacha Mishaloi. He's his messenger, but he's Mekadosh from his own money.
So it's a special kind of method.
Yeah, but it
Not a regular one.
it's like something else, like the money belongs to the person that they take the money for. It's not a shlichus mamesh, like the money belongs to him. And the girl or the person that made the shlichus, the commissioners, isn't a shliach mamesh.
But who appointed him? The guy appointed him, or by Evid the Evid didn't appoint the guy to give the money for him, the guy in his own ransom. That could be a shliach.
What?
By Evid Ivri. The Evid Kanani, the Evid didn't appoint the third person to give the money for him. The guy did it on his own free will. He got
And he cannot appoint him because he doesn't have a yard.
so then it should be the same thing over here.
Right?
The same thing over here, then why?
He didn't appoint him to do the mice for him. But he needs to have his consent. See, we say he's shliach. How do he has his consent? And that's when he says, Elach, when he's catchy, his dibur works. Because he's a shliach to do that dibur.
But who made him a shliach? He didn't.
The Baal made him a shliach.
But by Evid Kanani, then.
Right?
So to have him.
But the Kanai don't need his consent. It's mela. If he's mezaket him, he's happy. Just as a yad. He's all to Vada is happy. You have his rotzon there all the time. You don't have his rotzon. So you needed his shlichus to make his rotzon.
You have to look at the machlokas whether Evid Kanani is happy or not. The machlokas of the Gemara. But Berachon is like this morning, it's a machlokas whether the Evid is happy or not, wants to be redeemed or not. Machlokas. And therefore, you're going on one side, the machlokas. The same over here. Then how do we know that the guy wants to marry the woman? If he didn't.
We learned this sugya, by the way, in Masechet Giti. Nafid Aleph. One second, let's see. I have here Masechet Giti, yes. Let's see inside.
That's another story. That's fine, but that didn't happen. Sleepless.
Let's see. Mishnah says, it's a Mishnah. Okay. Somebody says, give a get shichu to my slave. So Ramir says he can retract. Because the choy, even though I pointed the shliach, I can that's not a zechia. Choy magitri noshim I can retract. Alo shechur avodim. Why? Because shechur avodim is a zechia. And if he's not going to levono, we're going to levono. And it's machlois Ramir and Chacham. Chacham holds as a schus. According to Ramir, it's not a schus. The Gemara explains why. Mishnah says, "Shimir tzisholem rozum es avdoi rashai." So you're not losing anything. You're not losing food. So according to Chachamim, food you're not losing, so it's a merit for him to leave. A slave is a merit for him to leave his ownership of his master, because food, any other master is not obligated to give it to him. You can say, listen, go and work and prepare, make your own money. Go and collect the money in the streets to feed yourself.
But how can he collect the money? He can't get the money.
Food.
Go to the master.
Food.
The food also can't go to him. How can they go to him?
Why not?
Because everything goes to him, goes right to the master. Also the food. That's the money.
The master says eat. I wanted you to
Yes,
eat.
the master.
Ain't zoncho. I'm not gonna give you food. You go collect money yourself. To feed yourself. Can a master tell his son, his slave, I don't want to feed you? You go feed yourself. That's the whole discussion here in the Gemara. Okay? But bottom line is, according to Chacham, he's allowed to do so, and therefore it's a zechus. Amir is not a zechus because he's poisons after him in a truma. This is a back and forth here. What's the reason of
Not direct, it's not direct, it's sort.
yeah, Machlokes, can a slave tells his master, "Oh, give me food or free me." Chacham says, "Reshus beyad rabbi to do what he wants, not to give him food." Go and work get your own food. Leave him alone.
The money is from the emissary. What is emisario? No, emisario, yes. Emissary. The money of the emissary.
The word emissary.
From Rashi.
Yes.
From the Rashi. Like Rashi says, conságrate como si te consagrate. Make it this money to Looney, the money is
So let's go back here. According to Rashi, he made him a messenger. He's the emissary of the husband, but the ownership of the money belongs to a third party. So I don't know what he did in shlichus. If somebody else can pay for you, what shlichus is about. So by Evet Knaini, when somebody pays for the Evet, so he pays for him, definitely is a schus as a chiyah for him, as a result of yad. He said zechiyah and shlichus only kontech hakomim. Now kontech hameir. The kontech hameir is not zechiyah. I think that's before you megadesh. They can retract. Not a schus to him. Be'etzem. Once I already I want to divorce him. I want to give him a bill of freedom. So zechiyah for him, no, maybe not. Maybe kontech hameir is not zechiyah. We follow Chacham. That looks like Chacham.
How does the guy know that the Baal wants to marry the woman? Maybe he doesn't want to marry that woman. How does he know that he wants to marry the woman?
So if according to Rashi, shluchos, he knows he wants. That's you have to make him shliach.
Yes.
Question: those who don't hold shlichus, what do they say? So they say something else. What do they say? Va'arosh zal. I'm reading in Pnei Yoshua. Va'arosh zal besimen vov kosa. The afilim eno shluchos. What's the word afilu? Both. Not only if he made him shliach, it works. Even if I didn't make him shliach, Ela Shomar HaMekadesh is the Mekadesh said, Basoif in the end. Iskachili marry me b'mona shenos alachpoini. With 100 Jews that gave you this third party avuri for me. It works.
How?
How does it work?
You didn't see the woman. There's a law that you have to see the woman before. Okay.
Who says he did?
What is the marriage between the?
He says he wants. Later on, he says he wants. Again, so third party gave the money, and the third party is not a messenger of the husband. So you don't know that he wants. Who says he wants it? Maybe you could give money and do a maisa for me. Where's my rotzah? So he says, in the end, when I meet her, and I decide that I want her, I said, I would say later on a statement, "Iskacheli ben monish no san loch pleni avoy." Marry me with 100 Jews that somebody gave for me. How would work? One second. Am I understanding the Maisa Kiddushin in the beginning by everybody else? You just need my rotzo, you need a gilui. So you have a dibur later on to make out my rotzo. He says, "Lashomer Amekadosh Basof." What is Basof? Why didn't say Tochelibu? He says Basof.
Probably the end of the mice. Or talk to the other guy. This means talk to the so we talk to the
But you didn't have to follow through at the time of those shots and ice.
Yeah, we cannot say,
Marries a farmer, he connect one to each other.
That's right.
Giving you the money to the
Still, so you connect the Maisa with the other person with the dibur later on. So if it's Tochelibu, you're right. I can connect. But it was Soif doesn't mean Tochelibu. It means an end of the story. That's what he said. Not an end of the Maisa. What is a Soif? Soif Maisa or Soif of the story of what happened here? Okay, see if Soif is a Maisa, you're right. I understand that even Soif is even after the Kiddush. Still, in the end means in the end of the person, sometime later on, in the end of the story, the guy said, "I am a Kodesh Asli. I am a Kodesh Asli." They born there with 100 Jews that somebody gave for me.
You don't have money, the money and the Kiddush doesn't happen the same way.
I think I appreciate this. You can have a Gilui, you can have a revelation of what he wanted. Gilui, like Ritzun. The Mafreya, yes. Let's see the Rambam Zal, Rambam bless his memory. Perek Nil Shishus. What the Rosh said? What the Rosh says?
Elach Monica Chifroni.
Yes.
So shliach.
oh, sorry.
עשו שליח אל 13 מונים משלו, או שלו, או זו שליח, ברום המקדש, הרבי קודש לי, ומון שרתי לפלוני מקודש.
או שאומר המקדש?
שלו עשו שליח.
Yes.
המקדש, הרי מקודש לי, במונה שלא שם לפלוני מקודש. Doesn't say soif. Only the pre-show of the person.
And the word soif. Okay.
Doesn't say soif. So משהו good at that, can be dafki b'nach hazman.
Opposite. All right. Okay. Other way. Yes.
Wants to get married. Like that says you even see her. How can the other person give like a full goal for something? It's not getting married.
Yeah. You only can give money for somebody. Your friend can give money to a girl for you that if you would want later on, it would work. You have to want. First of all, who says maybe he didn't see her? Maybe he saw on Facebook, he saw before, she didn't realize. Back then, but now that he met, let's say, two friends, says, I would love to get married to this girl. I don't know if she wants. So your friend is a good friend of yours. He goes to her, he says, "Do you want to get married to that guy? He loves you, thinks about you at night, he wants to take care of you. He's a good guy, handsome guy, has money, his work, Torah, religious guy, and he gives money for you. And then later on, he says, what? I did it for you so much. I would love that."
He knows what his type is. That's why.
Yes. He knows what his type is. Obviously. Rambam.
What is the way?
That's what we're discussing. Is mashma that the giving of the money of a third party, that's the moment of the kiddushin. And then, but then later on, when he's megale, if it's shliach zvaray now, if he made him shliach zvaray now, if he didn't make a shliach, I think it's also now. You see, have his ritzui later on. You have his gilui das later on that he wants. That's my understanding. We'll see.
Wait, so he sent him. He knew about him. The husband. He knew that something is going on.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. So
Not necessarily.
Even if he didn't saw her.
But later on, he saw her and he agreed, and he says, "Okay, I'll be married without money."
there's no shlichus.
רש"י משיח, לא? מחלקת. והרמב"ם פרק A, מלכו יסיש הלוך החופץ. שאומר לא הסקת שלי בענו הבורך ויגדול. Again, the Rambam said the same thing that the husband needs to say. Marry with a pleasure that came to you because of me. But he needs to say, which is not that person, third party, is giving the money and he's saying. The Rambam says the husband needs to say. Yes, and he adds pleasure.
Why did you step like
Because the Rambam over the Masechet Kiddushin, the Shitosa needs Kesef Kichav, Kesef Kiddushin needs Kesef Ano. כל התורה כולו by Mekar, need Kesef. Even Ano, Matomas Lachzu works by Mecher. By Pidyon Aben works by everyone, besides by Kiddushin. The Chalip, it's Gzeir, or the Betzer. The Rambam learns the Chalip means you need to have Kesef Ano. Yes.
When he gives the money, so that not is the marriage. מידים זוכים, מידים זוכים, לא אדם שלא בפונו.
You can repeat.
How we get married in that moment? מידים זוכים, לא אדם שלא בפונו.
Oh,
So
not Midin Zechir.
how?
There's a Maise.
Yeah.
And Maisa Veret Knaini, every Knaini is Mechadesh, that somebody can Mechasa a moment to do a Maisa of giving him Kesef for you. You just need your Rotzon. So later on, you expect your Rotzon. I'm going to sleep, I know.
How does it
How does it work? We're going to learn more. Okay, it needs explanation. I agree that it needs an explanation. We'll explain it soon. I explained it already. It needs more polishing. That's our goal. Venire de Rashi Zal. Nami, it looks like Rashi, bless his memory also. Lav davka b'shor shliachai. When Rashi says v'hu shlucho is lav davka.
I know what the word means, but how do you love that for shliach? That's.
Even without a shliach. You should just explain later on.
But love that means it could be usually.
Could be shliach. So then the third party that gave the money, he says, Aram Mekodeshes Lo. To him, he says the Amir of Kiddushin. And could be that he made him a shliach, and he does the Amir. If he made him a shliach, so the third party does the Amir. If he didn't make him a shliach, the husband needs to say the Amir later on. Rashi just wrote one of the cases. If you're not going to say so. How can he learn from Evet Kanaini? Why? Also, by Evet Kanaini, you don't have shlichus.
You are done.
Dauki Rove lekamon of Chov Gimel Amud Beis Rabbi Meir. Rove says, according to Rabbi Meir, Domar leDe'acherim, Rabbi Meir says you can redeem a slave through others. Afilu shelo midat or de'evet, even without the knowledge of the slave. Mishum umishum, and the reason is because the Kabbalas Rabba Gomolo, the receiving of the master, caused the slave to be free. Which means I don't need the consent and the wish, and the agreement of the slave. The slave doesn't have ownership, because whatever he owns, his master owns. And I don't care about his das. He's not the balabait to say I want to be free. Nothing. You own by your master. So who does the consent for the slave? It's only the master. The Rebbe says, how can others pay for the slave? Where's the slave's das? He says, I don't need his das. Because Kabbalas Rabba Gomol, the receiving of his master, caused him to be free. He's the owner of him. Like he owns a cow. So he is the master that receives the money. He's the one that decided to free the cow, to sell the cow, to free the cow. Or say, here, I'm free my slave. I don't need his consent. He's nothing. He doesn't exist. Aisha, we need das. So really, she can't say that when Rashi will shluchim means that's the only way we come in from it Kanaini is that he make him shliach. Because you don't have shlichus. You don't need his das. Just added because I need the consent of the husbands. I have two options. We made you a shliach, so that's why the third party can sell him the kudeshes. But if you didn't make him shliach, he needs to have the ritzu later on, and I attach it to the ma'aseh.
It's difficult to say Russian is left out. That's a very difficult
Yeah,
to say.
very difficult.
Saying
But
that-
would they be difficult otherwise?
Yeshua is saying that.
Rabbi Meir say that you can.
Yes.
Yeshua is saying that it breaks the legal. If there's a shliach, it breaks it. It breaks the legal. You can't learn from Ebeknani if there's a shliach.
If what? If?
Shliach, if it's a shliach, you cannot learn this from Ebeknani, says Nation.
Because by the tiny of shlichus is nothing. There's a yad. You don't need his das. You don't need shlichus for the das of Evet Knaim. You don't need it. So therefore, also here, so it has to be love das. Since I need to solve the problem of his das, not shlichus, I can have him later on. Later on, say what? Why not?
Only in one part and not the other part. Therefore, there's no problem with shliach because you could learn from Ebeknani. But here, Nation was saying, no, we can't learn from it.
No, if you learn his bedavka, then you can't learn from Evet Knaim. Because love dafka is just solving a side thing. If it's bedavka means
Ebeknani for this.
right.
That
That means it's not dafka. If it was bedavka, means that's what I need. That's the only way I can learn is shlichus. Because we learn like the Bnei Yeshua. There's not dafka shlichus. Because I don't need for the sake of Evet Knaim to have shlichus. That's what it means.
you can't learn from Ebeknani.
Why Rashi did?
Who learned?
We learned that there's two parts. One is the Aviva and one is the Messina.
Right,
Messina, that wasn't shlichus. There was no shlichus of that, only shlichus of the other part.
right.
And that part, you can't learn from it. They should say, no, you can't learn. You can't, or maybe you can't.
He's saying something else of Yeshua. He says, if he needed the shlichus, also mitzad din Evet Knaini, if the shlichus required mitzad Evet Knaini, I have a problem. I can learn from a Knaini. You don't have any shlichus, you don't have any das. So it has to be that the shlichus is not mitzad Evet Knaini. It's mitzad is a problem of das. Meil is lav dafka. There are many ways of das.
Why Rashi didn't put the chiddush? Rashi should take the not chiddush, the sphere, because that is more chiddush. What is chadana? It's not chadana.
No, we never have shlichus here. You have ritzu.
Okay, Ritzu, sorry.
Ritzu of the husband or amir of the husband. Ritzu or amir of the husband. Yes.
That's better. That's the case.
That's a bigger kiddush.
Yeah.
No, because it's not. As the Rashba explained, it's not similar to Evet Knaini. Evet Knaini is the one who gives. It does the Meiser redeeming. When others give the master, that's it. There's no shlichus or nothing. I don't have shlichus. I don't need his das, and I don't have shlichus. I don't need it. I don't have. So if I want, so which means who does the Meiser Kinyan of Pidyon by Evet? The others, the Achem, the third party, or the slave?
Slave.
No, the third party. Very good. Yeah, Cheskel. Because the Eved doesn't have any ownership, and you don't need his das, and doesn't have any ownership. Who says Mekan Nafshim?
Says mechanic that the Eved mechanic nafshe. With the no. Don't say that the Eved mechanic nafshe.
Koni is one thing. Koni, yes, he does. That's a fact. It says Mekanya. That's the word. Koni lelaisasa. Avdolay chosa midi kakoni nafshe. Not Mekanya nafshe. He's not doing it. No, it's a result. It does not an active. It's not the same. Not active. He acquires himself.
He acquires himself, or he's acquired.
He's acquired
So that's-
for himself. He's acquired for himself,
The difference between-
right?
there's
It doesn't say that he's the active. It doesn't say that. Velefiza, according to this, I read the last 3 lines in the Pnei Yoshua. Ulefiza
he acquire himself if he cannot own anything,
How can he what?
any money?
Good question. Good question. The Chiddush Apter of Evet Kanaini is that although he cannot acquire anything, he can acquire himself. Because the receiving of his master, Kabbalah Sraba, he causes him to be free through others. Somebody else gives the money for him, even though normally for him means I acquire the money to him and I'm his messenger to give it for him. No. I give directly to the master. The slave is not part of the acting. It's not part of the Maaseh of King and Pidyon. It's just a receiving of this master receives the Pidyon and makes the King and Kesef for the slave as a result, but not part of the acting. Is there a case? Yes.
Can be free.
It's in the case as a Meyuchot case. And yet we learn from it to Mecher and Kiddush. But the fees according to this, Ikar Ayarfusam Evet Knaini. The main learn out from Evet Knaini, Ainuli, which means for the sake of the Mikir Bechaygam Nekesef. So what do we learn from Evet Knaini? That's considered Kesef, meaning King Kesef. Avagav the Lechosa Midi, even though he didn't lose anything, still considered Kesef, King Kesef. Umi Meile, and I learned by itself from here. Even if the husband didn't make him a messenger. Im Omar, you hear the word Rabbi Yisrael Shleimeh? Achakach, Rabbi Shlomo. Achakach. What does Achakach means? Later on. Iskachli b'mona shalos amploini. Marry me with the money that Pliny gave for me. It works. Can't nearly buy myself. So what do we got from the Bnei Yehoshua? The Bnei Yehoshua's big chiddush is that there's no machloikis between the Rosh and Rashi and the Rambam. Rashi just said one out of the two. Or that you make him a shliach and it's now. Or if you didn't make a shliach, the people later on is connected to the Maaseh.
No, we have three different opinions with the Rashi, Rambam, and Rosh. They say
Three different rabbis. Not different opinion.
not opinion, but they are different. Like, because the Rashi says
He's the messenger.
Mekadesh with the money that Pliny give you. As it means that the money is like a shlichut. But Rosh said,
Stop. Explain. What does that mean? That the third party does the kiddushin. Everything. He says the kiddushin. He gives the money for the kiddushin and he speaks the kiddushin. Says the kiddushin. Iskachi leploini. Eilach one iskachi leploini. He does the kiddushin with shluchai. Yeah, those are the words. Eilach one iskachi leploini is the lashon kiddushin. According to the Rosh, you don't have to comment to that option, or that he says later on comes the Pnei Yehoshua says Rashi doesn't argue on the Rosh. Rashi agrees there's two options, and he has to agree to the Rosh because if Rashi's bedafka is not similar, that's the way it needs to work. We tell the Kanani that's not true. Every Kanani doesn't have any shlichus. It says Kabbalah Sraba Gomolai. That's what works with him without his das. Because if you would learn, let's say that, if you learn Vedavka, means this is a format of Evet Kanaini. So then it comes out as if Evet Kanaini, that's a format of Evet Kanaini. What does format mean? This is the way to do it. And it's not similar to Evet Kanaini. Means you can't learn. If it's intrinsic, Vushluchoi means this is the way it works. So by Evet Kanaini doesn't work. See, how can you learn the dilimut? No, you if you make a shliach on a dibu, you need a knife for the ma'aseh. The ma'aseh is somebody else. saying that Rashi admits that the Dibur later on would work. Rashi will admit that the Dibur later on would work. Let's say opposite. Let me make it easier for you. 1 second. I'll explain to you. According to Balaitu, or Rabbeinu Hanan, not Balaitu, if he said later on, yes, I want it, would work or not?
Yeah, but I'm talking about the case.
According to those Rishonim, turn the page. Yeah, but it was loved up. He brings down the Rabbeinu Hananel. Balaitu says, Afal Gav de lo Arzi lebosa lekicho lo dio lo ugaw yitze v'edim kodeshes. No. Therefore, זה בחידוש הרשב"א. Turn the page before, and he brings down Ashford is saying that without the ritzui, I won't say zechir because of choiv. But now that you do have a ritzui, it works.
That's the case without shlichus. I'm talking about the case with shlichus, not the case without shlichus.
Without shlichus, what would
Yeshua have to leave, say the Eberknani doesn't fit into the case with shlichus. Why does Yeshua have to say?
because if I would say that Rashi is bedavka, so then he wants the mafkia that when Rashi says shlichus, when I say shlichus bedavka means this is the format of Evet Knai.
So it means that you don't need it. It means you don't need
Then
it.
he has a problem. Evet Knai doesn't have shlichus.
You can't learn it from Eberknani. It has to be one of the two.
Cannot learn.
You can't learn it. You can't learn from Eberknani in this case.
Yes.
We learn.
You don't need shlichus.
We learn.
No, that they don't have. Lami Torah shlichus.
It's a high.
Right.
But they should say there is a problem.
No. So how did Yeshua solve it? By saying lavdavka. It's not part of it. Because what we learn from
But they should.
we learning only one part. That's exactly what Yeshua is saying. He's saying that we're just learning one part, that the chison and the sina is done through somebody else. There's lavdavka. But it is the same thing when I say palgino mimeile shlichus lavdavka. Because if I only need to solve, if I only need to solve the problem of the husband's ritzui, I have many ways to solve it. You can say later on, he's ritzui. You can say dibur later on. Or can express his own words. That's what it means, lavdavka.
We learn like a Isha.
Yes.
That we learn from Sade effort.
Yes.
We say that we learn just what we want to learn from.
Right.
We learn everything.
Right.
Okay? So,
Oh, it's a gilu.
So why?
Right.
It means that the husband must to know in the moment of the kiddushi
Yes.
who is taking. Okay?
Yes.
So why we can't say that we learn from every degree? Oh, ikar libud. What? So we learn just what we can learn, and doesn't contradict the ikar Torah, ikar statement of the Torah. The Torah says ikar hijab is there is no such thing like gilu does. Gilui, that's after. No, you have to know in the moment of the marriage. So, okay, what we learn, Kisarolomoy. That's the only thing that we learn from every Gilui. Oh, in every Gilui, okay, that's, he has no possibility. He has no possibility, he has no money, he has whatever, there's no shlichus. It's better to explain that than say like laptop.
The Gemara on page 45 says that Ritzui works. If you're going to learn Ritzui means not Mikora, later on, so you see by father to son, Ritzui works. Yes, go to the Ritzui. Yes. Go to the Ritzui. I know he's asking, it's in concept. That has to be together. I don't necessarily. So we holds we have Gemaras. Then Ritzui later on works.
Rashi seems to be having, we know that Rashi holds them.
Rashi holds the Ritzui needs to be Mikora. So according to this shot, Rashi holds in later a question is Rashi arguing on the Ritva? Is bedafka or lav dafka? What do we say lav dafka? Where the Ritva says? No, we brought the Ritva that says you don't need a Ritva before. The question is Rashi's bedafka or not?
You have to say the more factors in the case that.
Listen, we have to know that the Yeshua argues on the Rashba. The Rashba learned Pshat and Rashi. The one is, look in the first Rashba. Pirish Rashi. I'm reading the Yoshua. Page before, we have the Rashba. Page 1, we have the Rashba. And he quotes Rashi, the first line. Eilach mon nebiskatshi Pirish Rashi. Usha Shliach. Loima to teach you. Shim lo aso Shliach. We didn't make him Shliach. Even the Mekudesh as afilu nisrat to the Basoif. It's not Mekudesh. Even later on, he said, "I want it." Right? Should Vashas Kiddushin meal in the Kanya? Because in the moment he gave his no Kiddushin. I need to point him as a Shliach. Dilma Nisratze Mikora Bochi. Maybe retroactive, I say he always wanted it. It's a Gilo that he wants it means Gilo and he wanted in the beginning. I'm going to come on, but Dilma Tsuyartze, come in. We said later on that but Dilma here, but there is such a concept of Ritzui. The Gemara says, it says Mikora. There was but the father that he wants his girl. There the father did the Maise, and the son Mikol revealed that he wants his girl. He didn't point to be my messenger, but he says, I want that girl to marry her. So then we say it's enough Gilui. But to say that if you didn't reveal in the beginning, there's somebody else did for you an act, then later on you agree to it, retroactively, the Ragba says, well, I want, and he explains why. Because he said it's a choniv. He won't give you the doors. And you can't divorce her, it costs you money to divorce. He has a whole list. This is the Rashba. Pshat and Rashi. But the Bnei Yeshua says no. The Yeshua says lav dafka. Rashi said, "O shluchoi, who shluchoi?" The Rosh says, "Even not shluchoi, you can speculate on." Yes, he says Rashi nire. The Rashi nami lav dafka. Even Rashi says, "So shliach is not dafka."
Don't exclude it, Ritzui future.
Right.
But you didn't exclude Ritzui Mikora. Rashi.
It's true.
And the Yeshua is not, doesn't have to be about Ritzui.
No, he spoke about later on. Basof. He said the word basof. It says basof. Achakach. Yeah, it's not the pash. Achakach and basof is mashma afterwards. Gilui afterwards.
Not like the Rashi in the future, the other page.
Not like the Rashi in Yeshua. Not like the Rashi of the Rashba. It's not like the Rashba.
Rashba say that she must have some.
He learned Rashi different than the Rashba learned Rashi. What do you want to say?
That the Rashba say that there must be consentimiento, como que say,
Agreement.
the agreement in the beginning.
Correct.
If they are not in the beginning, ain't Kiddush.
And the way the Yehoshua is learning Rashi, Lav Davka can be or Shlichus right now, or the Ritzel later on.
That what the players were, every degree is excuse to be free.
Yes.
So every night, So that's why when the money get to the master make the action and whatever.
Even though the slave doesn't have a hand and doesn't have a yad, but it works for him. And I know I don't need his consent because definitely it's for benefit of Chacham. And if it's not his benefit, so he can say it's part of the Gzeras HaKos. Then it works.
The husband get married, even though that he doesn't saw her before, just with the kilo.
Later on, he says, "Oh, I love this girl. Yes, I want this girl." After it works retroactively. Right? Wasn't it supposed? No, but it wasn't. It wasn't a choiv. Okay. The Rashba said it's a choiv. The Rashba said it's a choiv. Rashba said it's a choiv. And the Rabbi says why it's a choiv. What's the worst? I don't want a divorce. So the Rashba says divorce, you need to spend money to divorce. And also, the moment you divorce, and nobody gives you else's daughter, those are smallest, but you sure can argue those small. Because altogether, I want the small truth is that every girl, which later on you said you want her, I would say retroactively you always wanted her.
But we are learning the law according just from the Torah, because from Rabbanon Katuv Asur LaAdam Livnei Shichrei Otan Sheitchater. So according the Rabbanon is also all this mikra is Asur with the Rabbanon.
Who says he didn't see her? He saw her before, but who says he wants her? There's two things. Seeing the girl, he saw the girl. Because there's halacha, you're not allowed to marry her, not seeing her, he saw her. What's the question is? The Rabbanon. Let's say we solve that problem. The question is, he wants her. So then somebody else did it for you. Later on, you say yes. We connect the later on, say yes to the beginning or not. So the Rashba says, I don't connect. You retract. Now we retract it. Because I know Mistomi doesn't. The Rashba says, Mistomi he didn't want. The Rebbe says, no. Beginning, we don't know. It's hollow, empty, hard. We don't know yes, we don't know no. Later on, when he says yes, I assume that he wasn't with her. What can you do? How can you learn otherwise? How can you learn the Rashba? Explain me the Yeshua otherwise, how he doesn't argue the Rashba. Says, Pirish Rashi v'shluchoi, v'arosh kosad afilu eino shluchoi, v'ni Rashi lav davka, when the Rashba said is davka. Rashba said v'davka. The Rashba argues. Let's say that part. The Rashba says v'davka. Says achakach, basoy. What do you want? Yes, achakach. It's a achakach afterwards. Because you have a hard problem. Yes.
Was that one word that he's arguing with Farish Rashi.
What? No,
Farish Rashi and that Mem. Farish Rashi, what do you mean?
No, Rashi only there said.
Rashi himself said that the Rashi means before. Rashi himself said that Rashi's arguing what he said with the the Balakita. So the Rashba used that Rashi, the Rashba learned the Rashi, and he learned it this way, and then.
Rashba learned Rashi's Gemara.
Rashba said the Rashi argues Balakita. Then you want to tell me that Yeshua didn't know how to learn the Rashi?
What's the problem? What's the problem? The Rashba, I'm answering you. The Rashba, Rashi argues on the Balaitu. But Lav Dafka. Well, Lav Dafka. Rashi there that says they talk about before. He's saying not after.
He repeated the Rashba. When you read the Rosh,
You don't need that Shnias.
Yeah, but he repeated the Rashba. Why repeat the Rashba? I know, but he repeated the Rashba. He does Rashba, but not the Rashba.
I receive it. If someone like get a Metzia from the street, I get a Metzia
Yes.
from Ploni that is in Brazil. Okay?
Yes.
But I'm not sure that Ploni would like that or not.
Yes.
It's a stopper. Like
Yes.
And by the way, when someone else says, give me the Metzia.
Yes.
And says, no, it's for Ploni. Hey, but you know that he likes? No, I'm not sure. 50-50. So the Metzia is from whom? From this guy?
Later on, he says he wants it.
And later on, yeah, but
Yes.
but he stole the
And you don't know, in a case you don't know somebody's das. Then later on he tells you what he wants. You can assume that he always wanted it. You didn't know. He didn't know, he wasn't informed. But if you say he didn't want it, and only later on he changed his mind, and then it's not later on he wants, but he really didn't want. Like the Rashba says in Rashi, that he didn't want, because it's a choy. You have to create what is a choy. No more says, don't be a choy. What's wrong to have another woman? It's okay. Women, 2,000 women. Wrong. To say divorce costs money and all somebody else. Come on. If I don't want a divorce, I want the girl off divorce quickly, I'm with her. I want somebody else who give me some divorce quickly. I divorce women.
So giving money and Safek is good. That's the Zachin Lodom, the Safek.
Yes.
It's okay.
Retroactively.
The Safek is okay.
You don't know his last later on. But the Rashba says it's not a Safek, it's a Varai not. They're sure it's a Safek. That's all.
Giving money.
Yes, and then yeah, that's what he's saying.
It's okay.
Yes. Yeah, time we was already 10:42. It's too late. I really wanted to do the Reb Shimon Shkop people should see. Then we'll start the Reb Chaim Alevi and the Birkas Shmuel. What do you want to say? Yes, Rabbi Kavir. Yes. 3, it's serious, yeah. You said 3 questions is a lot. No? Go ahead.
We have to know.
Rashi says that the Gilu is in the beginning of the Mevei. That's question number 1 against Ibn Yeshua. You can say also there's Lav Dafka. Who asked me this question? Also, Yosef Chaim. And yes. Like you see the Ritva. The Ritva says, even so the Ritva, somebody has a Ritva. Shlomi, you have a Ritva. Bring up where the government quote. Let's see. I don't know if that's on me. Yeah, so let's see that one he said on it.
I wouldn't be paid sure, I didn't find.
That's פירוש, בכל זהב דניחלה לברי בקידושיננו, וקידשן עלי חושב זכות זו לבונו, אלא כתשענו מויכי הרקה, ששומע. ואורכי רוצה כמה מעיקור הפירוש. בכל זהב דניחלה לברי בקידושיננו, וקידשן עלי חושב זכות, אלא אם כן שמינו מויכי, אחר כך כששומע, ואורכי אינו מויכי. לפי הרב מי שכבר ניסח לעמו, יוצא זנבו. דורכו בריץ בנו עשינו אלו מדין זכיר, בין שנשרץ מתחילו כהנים קידושין. או אחר כך. אבל בריצו ידעה בקטנו בין שהוא המויס בין משס ריצו. Which is now. And here by his son he says, can be even good later on. He says clean, לאו דווקא. בין שנשרץ מתחילו כהנים קידושין או אחר כך. He doesn't quote Rashi, nothing, just first pshat the דיל מעצור קמי מקור הפירוש וחוזר דניחלה. Then later on he says, אף על פי נישא ולפי כך, אף על פי שכבר ניסח לו המויס, לייסלם פה, ואוכל בריצוי בין לא עשינה, אלא מדין זכייה, בין שנשרץ מתחיל לו קידושין, או אחר כך.
But then we talk about there, talk about the moist disappeared. It says, even still, how it works. That's a big cash. That's how it works. Oh, it comes like a choy. Oh, we had
Oh, he said even if he didn't mean it to be full later on, we assume that what's what he wants. Like the Bnei Yeshua understood. Like the Rav wants the mafkia from that, but that's what the Bnei Yeshua had.
Why don't you say that was true?
I don't know the Bnei Yeshua. Here I have Bnei Yeshua. Let's see. Let's see the Bnei Yeshua inside. You saw the Bnei Yeshua here. So we'll find it. B'ezrat Hashem. If Hashem give us the siyat and Yeshua to find it. Let's see. Yeshua. Daf. Zayin Amud Aleph here. Dealing with Klein. Pirush Rashi. I'm someone's a big Yeshua here. To learn it. To learn the whole thing. אבא רב מיסר אמיר קומה לו לכמה רמפרידי עלי. זה כסר דה אחרים, וזה קוראים תחכמים, אבל לא תחכמים, doesn't work. כל מוקם מסכין לכמוד, הרבון נמי בכסר בין הדעת בין האחרים, ואוי למסכין also, אמיר אמיר רבון בכסר האחרים, אבל משהו מדי תודה. מדי כולם מוידו ושום מבוא. יש לך לרדי במקנאי המים פשיט לרום אפילו לאחרים. דין מדווקא דעת לאחרים, משום מה איתם מגוף, כי אתה לא יכול סמידי. בישלר רבי מאיר דומה במקרה כסר היינו שאומר לך, במקרו, לא אמור נפשי, אחרי מגיע. A lot of kashas here.
Yeah, yeah.
Silent here, what's going on here?
what did you put?
Place a male homie, you have to see the whole Shua here. Now, you're right, what you said, Reb Chaim, in the name of Rebel. It's a big problem here. It's a big part of the sugi here. That the whole deen of the Salocha of Evet Kanaini, Al De'achim, is only going to Rameir, not according to Chachom. According to Chachom is only Al De'atzim. So you have to say Al De'achim Misvoro. Just arguing a different point, but Be'etzim they agree Misvoro. So Misvoro, so there's a din Kloli, and the Rambam only brought din of Evet Kanaini only by a woman, not by Momen. The Chenim Amoin, they didn't write the din of Evet Kanaini. Okay, so yes, it deals with it. You have to see the Bnei Yeshua here. But I don't see how the Bnei Yeshua learned when Rashi says, Shluchoi is lavdafka, uadin. If he has a ritzu later on, then it works. So it's definitely not like the Rishonim, not like the Rashi. Pshat and Rashi.
There's a meeting later on.
Yeah, who say that this guy doesn't have that? You will think that the only way to make it fast is to say that.
The Yeshua says, Dilotei Nochi. Hakel with Knaini, there's not Shlichus. Aliba de Ramei, the Omar al De'achirim, means Afilu Shalom Midas, Midai to them. Kabbalah Sarabo Gomolai. So I don't need it, the das of the slave. So it cannot be shlichus. But the kingdom works al de'achim. Means others do the Kabbalah Sarabo in Achim does it all. And I don't need there at all. So how can I learn here that I need the husband? That's his problem. If it's bedafka. Yeah, right.
There is that.
Mamoina, there's king and Mamoina.
There's no place to.
What point is that? I agree. That's what he says, lavdafka. So when it says it's only one way to solve is that shlichus. That part we don't have to learn from a Knaini. So you made it the shlichus is not to learn from a Knaini shlichus. Shlichus, if Knaini is not shlichus. So that must be the shlichus not a bet Knaini vu shluchoi. It's midin kiddushin. So in kiddushin I can solve many ways. The shlichus can solve his das, or Ritzu later on can solve his das. If Ritzu later on works. So that's what she can say. Okay, to do more you than this. This is not an easy issue. It's a small one, but a tough one. Needs explanation.
הולכים בדין שליחות.
Niet voor goede was als je was als je dan zegt dat ik krijg je zo dat was laatst. Nou, we hier iets voor kunnen, dat is niet dat zeg iets voor is er iets voor heel erg gedaan. Wat dan?
אבל לא ככה.
Iets voor, nou zeg iets voor heel erg, לא יודע. יש לנו, לא יודע, הם אומרים כל מיני דברים שאני לא יודע מאיפה ממציאים את זה. זה הסבר שלהם, אני לא יודע מאיפה הוא קיבל את זה.
כן, אבל...
Not here, not here, not here. כן. Brings Rashi says shlucho, and the Ritva says, if it's shlucho, I don't need to get knaini.
Diaspora Yeshiva says.
When the Ritva said if it's shlucho, I don't need to get knaini.
מה הכי...
פירו שמאי כשאני לא עושה שלוחו של חדש. היינו לא תמיד בקנאים. כיוון שכן צריך עכשיו פלאים יוימה. When did he say otherwise I don't need him with knaini? It's shlucho כמו Isa. I don't know. Did they make it up? The whole make up here.
Okay. To make it up. Huh?
What? That what? Right, but where did he say there is a shliach? Shlucho כמו Isa, I don't need him with knaini. That's an error of they're adding a whole thing. And the whole question here. When did he say the word Vayni Dasalo? I see this word Vayni Dasalo. כאילו שמעים שלו של שלוחו של מקדש, אלו שלא יזכיר שלא יזכיר והיינו דסלו מזה קלייני. זה משמע, therefore, שלוחו something with קלייני. What they say, my Amarito is that if it's shluch, I don't have to come on to it. It solves it all. Shluch does it all. And we split. The shluch was always only on the Debo, and on the Meiser. But you never, shliach, do more shliach. So I don't think I'm going to Shluch Moise does it all. So they learned that Rashi learned. You cannot make a shliach that when he gives his own private money, he's like my money. Unless you have to come on Tevet Kanai. That's what they want to learn. It's another way to learn. Okay. It's another pshat. I can see it. Okay.
The key of Kedusha, you can't divide. You can't split that in here. It's like splitting in half. Has to be if it's there for everything or nothing.
It's a shliach for everything. So what's wrong? We have to come to Tevet Kanai. That's the Ritva's kasha, but the Ritva says you do. I mean, Rashi says you do. I'll explain Rashi. Rashi what? What Rashi holds? Oh, it's correct. That's what we said. That's what we said. I know that. You won't say, I split it. That they can be because he only said shlichus of dafka, but shlichus is there. That's the shlichus. Shlichus. So you don't have to come with the Kanaini. You don't have to come with the Kanaini. To get to the Kanaini. Now you go to the Kanaini. Mash, but if you have shlichus, you still need a Kanaini.
So,
Not the same.
It is explanation. המכללה בין הקשה מאוד צריך לשפוך ולזק ישראל לפנינו. יהיה רבה יותר שנאמר לו ומצמא צריך ביותר ליגיס, ונזכרי שמי רבו, לא מביאים גיבוסים, יעמים במוזים, לא נביאים לכל המולבי ישראל, לא בזמן קוראים הוא אומר, שלא צריך להגיד זה הכסף שלו. יש שאלה, יש פה שאלה, אם הוא עשה אותו שליח, לא צריך להגיע, אנחנו אמרנו שנכון שלא צריך, אבל זה עושה את החלק של אבל עדיין קושיה, לא צריך להגיע. עכשיו תרץ את זה. תעשה אותו שליח על הכל. זה השאלה. אז הם רוצים להגיד לו, הוא לא מועיל על חיסון ומורים, גם צריך להגיד על השאלה. שאלה, אבל מה זה כן אפשר שליח? השאלה היא כן, אפשר לחלק בזה עצמו. הם מנסים להסביר שזה שאלה, אולי שיגיד, אפילו זה שליח מומון, אני רוצה להגיד, זה כסף שלי, או זה כסף שלו? אם זה כסף שלך, נו. לא, אני מהחידש שהוא שם. למה זה לא מחוץ? כסף שלו, לא שלי, הוא תגיד, זה בכלל, זה לא שלא תקציב. לא, שזה צריך להיות, זה כסף שלו שם, זה לא יהיה משהו.
Is he teaching now? Okay. Ask him if I should come in, okay?
Bonjour. How are you? Good.